When Bennet finally reached Wolvendom, this is what he sees. He found Razor just peacefully sleeping under the trees and leaves, perfectly camouflaged. No wonder Lisa nor Amber couldn't find him. Bennet only saw him due to his loud snoring. Guess this is his lucky day. He then hurriedly wakes Razor up to inform him about the tragic events that just happened. The wolf boy abruptly opens his eyes with fierceness in his face, but suddenly turns into a happy expression, realizing it's his friend Bennet. In Razor language, he asks why for the sudden visit. He responds, saying he is very bad news. The unlucky man then starts reciting the entire situation, only to realize he wasn't understanding anything, so he oversimplified the explanation by just saying, "Jean, gone by a vision holder." Razor is visibly sad by what he said, and out of the blue, he questions Bennet if he did it, pointing at him. Bennet is flabbergasted by Razor's accusation, and immediately denies it, claiming that him, Fischl, and Mona were in Wolvendom the entire time, so it couldn't have been him. The wolf boy gets surprised by his remark, and turns his head in confusion. 3 people in his home? Bennet then remembers how he gets very uncomfortable when a lot of people visit, as they usually hunt the animals, so he affirms that none of them heard any of the wolves. Razor still seems confused, so Bennet decides to go get the picture of him feeding the wolves, as proof they did nothing wrong, only to realize it was in his backpack that he dropped while running. He promises to return after finding it, and runs off. After 5 minutes of looking around, his search gets interrupted by Razor's loud growl that can be heard in the distance. It sounded like he was in a fight, and in pain. Bennet quickly stops what he was doing, and runs towards his roars, screaming to Q not to hurt his friend, and fight him instead. When he reached the area, he was too late, and all that remains were strands of his hair and pieces of his clothes. His loud growls also gone. Bennet cries in defeat, and makes a vow to defeat Q no matter what. Fischl soon arrives at the forest, because Bennet hasn't been back in a long time, and sees the sorrowful sight. She promises that it will be alright, and they go back to the city together to rest. Fischl taking note that Q must have hidden Razor's body somewhere. Meanwhile, back in the city, Albedo is outside the headquarters, pacing back and forth, very deep in thought, accidentally stepping on some flowers and glass, when Kaya arrives to tell him about the new information he gathered. With a grin, Kaya says he had proof that one of them was lying about where they were located. Albedo adds that perhaps 2 of them were lying, as he sussed out someone else in the group. They then consider the possibility of Q actually being 2 different people. Albedo then remembers that he found new clues around the headquarters, and wants Kaya to take a look at it. He agrees, and they go inside the building, entering one of the rooms, and they see that the room also has a broken window, similar to Jean's office. The room was previously locked when he entered, probably to hide the fact that it was broken into. Kaya notes how none of the stuff in the room is stolen, and it didn't even look damaged in any way, except the window. It doesn't seem like it had any correlation to Jean's elimination, but Albedo still wanted to show it to him. He really appreciates how Albedo fully trusts him, unlike some other people. Suddenly, Fischl's bird appears, saying he was asked to deliver a message from Miss Sucrose. She says that she found new clues after investigating Jean's vision, and that he should come to his base immediately. Albedo is delighted by her announcement, thinking this mystery is almost over, and prepares to head off to Dragonspine. He then bumps into Bennet and the Purple Bird's owner, looking very stressed. They then proceeded to hurriedly explain what happened to Razor during their visit at Wolvendom, both of them starting to tear up just from remembering. He then calms them down, and tells them that the mystery is almost over, because they found new clues, making both sigh in relief. Albedo then orders them to gather everyone at the Dawn Winery for another meeting. They agree, and the 2 parties leave, hurriedly trying to reach their objectives. After minutes of climbing, swimming, and sprinting around the mountains, he reaches his base, and is surprised to see Rosaria also there. He greets her, being very cautious about what she might do next, but she doesn't say anything. and just slowly walks towards Albedo, with clear despair in her eyes. She then whispered to him that Sucrose is gone, and that she's sorry. His eyes open with shock, and he urges Rosaria to tell what happened. She says she doesn't know much, but tells what she saw anyway. Apparently, she was suspicious of Albedo and Sucrose being Q, so she secretly stayed around the area, in case she might find anything interesting. She then visited their base, after hours of not hearing anything inside, and when she entered, Sucrose was gone, together with all of her notes, and Jean's vision. She most likely got taken out by Q, while she wasn't paying attention. Rosaria then handed over a piece of paper, saying it will prove she didn't do it. It was a torn page from Sucrose's journal. The note stated that Sucrose knew all along that Rosaria was spying on her, while investigating Jean's vision, but didn't do anything, as she felt safe in her presence. On the contrary, she felt scared when she left the mountain, suddenly feeling threatened, like Q would eliminate her. He then thinks the page proves her innocence. He then hurriedly goes back to the Dawn Winery, along with Rosaria, to start the emergency meeting, and finally put an end to Q. He knew he needed to solve the case now, or else more of his friends would be eliminated. He aggressively starts off the meeting, with accusing Barbara and Noelle for being Q, as they were both caught lying about where they were located earlier that day. He claims that Noelle never appeared when Jean's body was found, when she was supposedly was also at the headquarters. She would have definitely come in to help if she was there, but she was completely absent. Kaya then joins in and helps accuse Barbara, as he interviewed the guards in the basement, and they claim to only see her for a split second before disappearing. Kaya even has more proof, and makes Barbara wear her summer outfit. Barbara declines, as she says it's embarrassing for her, but quickly changes her mind when people started looking at her suspiciously. She changed her outfit, and when she entered the room, they could see how her legs were covered in bandages due to cuts. Cuts that is most likely caused by glass shards. Kaya then recites the story of what he thinks happened. He thinks that Barbara sneaked out of the church, broke into Jean's window, but accidentally hurt their legs in the process by the shards of glass. She then somehow managed to eliminate Jean, ran off through the window, put bandages on the cuts, and then finally wore her very long socks to hide the bandages from them. As for Noelle, she might just be her accomplice. Kaya is confident with the answer, and everyone looks at the two of them with disgust. Noelle keeps hiding her face, trying not to say anything, and Barbara looks annoyed and slightly embarrassed. When DeLuc was about to arrest them, Barbara finally says something, and screams that they got it all wrong. Well, actually, only half of it wrong. She did indeed secretly left the church and broke into the headquarters window, hurting her legs in the process, but it wasn't Jean's office. She sneaked out because she needed to discuss something with her sister, something very urgent, regarding the secret that Jean has kept hidden for years. No one should ever see them discussing over it, so she broke into the window to enter, only to realize that she entered the completely wrong room. The shattered glass hurt her legs so much that she couldn't walk, but luckily Noelle came into the room and helped her. Barbara then lost all of her confidence to confront her sister, so she gave up for now, and asked for Noelle to help her exit out of the building, without anyone seeing, as it would be scandalous if one of the knights saw her and realized she braked in. Noelle graciously agreed, and carefully took her outside, without anyone noticing anything, but didn't just leave her there. Instead, she patiently put bandages on Barbara's cuts, and waited until she could walk. That's why Noelle wasn't in the headquarters when the body was found. Barbara sincerely thanked her for helping, and they promised to keep what happened a secret, because it's extremely embarrassing for Barbara, and they might get in trouble for skipping their work. The real reason why Barbara wanted to keep it a secret though, is because she also had to reveal that her big sister is hiding something if she ever told this story, and it will absolutely ruin her reputation if they find out, but she had no choice but to reveal the story now. Albedo believes their story, as it would answer the questions regarding the second broken window, and it really seemed like they were sincere. He apologizes for him and Kaya's accusation, and he starts thinking again. If it weren't them, who could possibly Q be? How did he or she enter the window without getting a single scratch? Armor perhaps, but he senses something not right. He then suddenly remembers something very important. He opens his eyes with fierceness and points to one of them, being sure that's he's pointing to Q, as he found the last piece of the puzzle. Albedo shouts that it was Mona who eliminated Jean. Mona defends herself, angrily pointing out that her body had no scratches, so how could she have possibly broken the window? There was no way she couldn't have gotten hurt. She doesn't even own any armor. Albedo fights back by saying that Q never entered from the window. He remembered when he stepped on shattered glass when walking outside Jean's office, and he even recalled how there was no glass shards anywhere in the room, unlike Barbara's window. It's because all the glass shards of the window were all outside. If he or she destroyed it from the outside, shards should have landed inside Jean's office, but the shards were all outside, meaning Q destroyed the glass while already inside, just to trick them into thinking he or she entered from the window. If they didn't enter from there, the only other option is the door, but since the guards claim that no other vision holder except Sucrose ever opened Jean's door, then it must mean that Sucrose is the only one who could have possibly done it, but she's now gone, so it's also not her. Klee questions that if Q didn't enter from the window and didn't enter from the door, then how did they manage to reach Jean? Albedo confidently replied that the only possible way is through teleportation, something only Mona can do. Mona still doesn't give up, and points out her alibi of seeing Fischl and Bennet, but Fischl doesn't vouch for her, as that doesn't mean anything if she could just teleport anywhere she wants. Mona then cries, and admits defeat, that she has been caught. She tries to teleport out, but suddenly stops her powers, as she finally learned the lesson that destiny cannot be denied. Lisa, not so calmly, asks why she did it, and Mona claims that all of her actions are justified. She then tells the story of what happened. In the past, before Jean was gone, she saw in the future how Jean was soon going to be corrupt, and has been secretly plotting with her clan to turn Mondstadt back to its very dark state, but this time with the Gunhilder clan as the one on top. Mona couldn't believe it, as Jean always seemed so nice and devoted to her people, but this is what her foresight told her. Mona has the idea of warning the other knights about Jean's plan, but after using her foresight again, she saw how people didn't trust her, kept being mean to her, for bad-mouthing the acting Grand Master, and some people even destroyed her house after she mentioned it. Telling other people about it wouldn't be beneficial, so her only other option left is to eliminate Jean herself, for the citizens of Mondstadt, and to not make history repeat itself. After waiting for the perfect time, she eliminates Jean, breaks the window to make other people be suspicious, teleports out into Wolvendom, where Bennet would be at, and it would be the perfect alibi. After that, she didn't intend to hurt anyone else, but after using her foresight, she saw how Razor was going to reveal to Bennet that she only ever smelled two human scents in Wolvendom, him and Fischl, proving that Mona wasn't there, so she had to silence him before he can mention it. The same happened to Sucrose, as she noticed glittery water inside Jean's vision case, so she also had to silence her, fearing getting caught by the group. She kept trying to deny destiny, ignoring her master's teaching that you cannot, but she still did anyway, and she is now paying the consequences. After that, she stopped using her foresight, not wanting to hurt anyone else, allowing things to happen to how it usually would, and this is how she got caught. Barbara cries as she vouches for her story, as Jean's plan was the secret she tried to hide, desperately wanting to stop it. As she was getting taken away by Diluc, Mona drops a piece of paper. She says that those are the coordinates where she teleported Razor and Sucrose, so she didn't actually eliminate them. Well, she accidentally might have, depending on where they landed. She apologizes again and says goodbye, leaving everyone in the room confused whether or not to forgive her. Bennet and Albedo then take the pieces of paper with brand new hope in their eyes. The end. Thank you so much for watching. This story ended up being longer than I expected, but it was very fun to make. Subscribe and like if you ended up enjoying this video. Bye.